happen there? Oh, there's something. Hello. There it is. Okay. Man. Apparently today we're starting off with a whole bunch of weirdness. Can we hear us? Everything now? Volume coming in? On top of all, I'm asking you guys about how things are sounding, how things are looking. Let me know as well. I'm gonna restart the music here. Let me know how the music is coming in as well. Is it at a good volume? I don't want to be too loud, overpowering, kind of soft in the background. Man, what a start we have here today. Hopefully that is not a sign of what is to come in this offseason. Of course, a lot of big things happened this year. We're going to go over everything up till the post-draft, basically, because I'm going to have to make a couple changes here. All right, edits coming in, says volume sounds good. All right, well, we will just rock and roll then from here. Spoiler alert, again, if you guys did not see the previous episode, go watch that. You can watch the live thereafter. But we came off a surprising Super Bowl winning season. First one for the Giants since 2012. And I guess all we do as New York Giants is disrupt dynasties. Because back in 2012, took down the Patriots. This year in this game, we took down the Chiefs, who had made it to 4 straight Super Bowls. Obviously now losing their last 2. But as we get things kicked off and let everyone get back in, especially after all of the weird start to this live stream, we're going to go over the stats. Jackson Dart, I want to say he started since week 3. See if we could jump on in here to check out the game stats. See when he really actually joined on in. So it looks like he actually started week 2, or came in and played a little bit of week 2. I think that wasn't a start, but he did see a lot of playing time in the Cowboys game. Real life wise, Giants are switching to Dart coming up to this next week, so about resembling what we did here in this series, which is really fun. But it wasn't the cleanest season for Dart. While he definitely showed a lot of signs of, he had 16 interceptions to the 22 touchdowns, only hitting 62%. He did also do a lot of work on the ground for us as well. 2 more touchdowns, only had 1 fumble, about 500 yards rushing. The main focus this year, seemingly on offense, was the use of Tracy. He was fantastic this year. Got Bradley coming in. The fact that Dart has more Super Bowl appearances than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen combined is hilarious. To be quite honest, I don't know how this team made it to the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to complain. We took care of business, and actually I think we do know why, and we will talk about that in a moment after we finish through the stats here. But yeah, Tyrone Tracy, he was fantastic for us. About 5 yards a carry, a little over 5 yards a carry. 11 touchdowns for us. Scattaboo, I would have loved to be able to utilize more. The problem I'm seeing here in this version of Madden and in college football is the change of the truck stick to include the reach forward. While I love that we now have that ability to reach forward, if you don't time it perfectly, and I'm going to say I'm old, my flicks apparently are holds. So we're not quite getting the truck stick like we had last year. And with the Stanford Cardinal dynasty, we had so many power backs. I was hoping to be able to use Cam a little bit more in that way. So we're going to see season 2 if I could get the proper flick down and actually get some power game going. That being said, Cam also didn't get really good blocking a majority of the time that he was out there, which is why I think his average is going to be about 2 yards less than Tracy. Still had 4 touchdowns. We still got him involved. We got him involved as well in the receiving game. 18 catches for him, 209 yards, 2 more touchdowns. But Wan'Dale Robinson really held things down for us this year. We didn't see as much of Neighbors. I think that's another thing to focus on in the next season, is to get Neighbors a lot more involved. He needs to be the wide receiver 1. I want Robinson to be wide receiver 2. Johnson is wide receiver 3. So what that means for someone like Booty, who we signed off the practice squad from the Patriots, most likely he would be moving on. And in the draft, I would love to find someone as that wide receiver 3. A young guy, maybe a little bit more of that possession guy over the middle. Also looked it up. This Giants team is the youngest Super Bowl champion ever by average age, which is a big note there, Bradley, because one of the reasons that we chose the Giants was because they were one of the top 5 oldest teams when we started this season. That was one of the things that drew me on the fact that they also had played horribly over the last almost decade, it feels like. But if we jump over here to the roster real quick, love that they moved where the roster was. But when we started, again, we had so many older players, and while we do still have a lot of older players, most of them are going to be moving on. Graham Gano, if he doesn't retire, will be staying around. We'll probably look to move off of Wilson, see if we could trade that. We'll probably find a younger long snapper. Kendricks might retire. If not, we're moving on from. We brought in Lamb just to be a depth guy. Luminor, maybe I think he has 1 or 2 years left on his contract. We'll see, depending on how much he potentially regresses, what that's going to look like. Bobby Okereke will be moving to 30 here today. But we got rid of so many older guys on this team, and the young guys stepped up in a massive way, which is going to make this offseason intriguing, because I don't think we're going to focus that much on free agents. I think the draft, couple key spots, there are a couple spots that we will look to fill in free agency, but overall-wise, we really flipped this team around in 1 year, focusing on the young guys. Finish off with the stats. Eric Gray will be moving into his 3rd year. We might look to see if we could find another running back to fill in that spot. He just wasn't really that impressive. Johnson, slow start to the season, but definitely got things going, and he led us in touchdown receptions. Again, these stats not including postseason play, but still really solid. I think moving forward, he's going to be that number 2/3 guy. Robinson, again, that 2/3 guy. Neighbors, I want to get him a whole lot more than 35 catches. We just figuring out the offense, figuring out the quarterback spot. It definitely slowed things down there. Tracy also very much involved in the receiving game. He and Scadaboo. Fiden, I love the role that he worked out for himself as that 3rd tight end fullback role. We seemingly find that a lot here with Coach Bearington, as those 3rd tight ends that start with that fullback spot, and they just kind of stick there. We even had that with the Jags franchise as well. John Runyon gave up the most sacks for us. We'll see if he sticks around at tackle. Schmitz Jr. did not start the full season, but he played in a majority of games due to injuries. He's another younger guy, going to be moving into his 4th year, actually, and his play's a bit up and down. We're going to check out guard in this offseason. Andrew Thomas, 4 as a tackle. I'll take that. Tittman traded for him. Only gave up 4. Parham only had 562 snaps. That was a trade that I think helped us perhaps push us over the edge and make it to that Super Bowl this year. But I don't know if he's going to be the long term. Illuminor probably not going to be either. He dealt with a lot of injuries there late. One player that I do want to see more playing time for, at least see what he could do, maybe preseason perhaps, is going to be Marcus Mbo. If that's how you pronounce it, do let me know in the comments if it is the pronounced or how, because every now and then it changes, it feels like. But he has some solid ratings. He's a very balanced guy. At worst, he's going to be basically your 6th offensive lineman. Someone goes down, he's filling in if we don't find someone to really take over. But he is young. 22, will be turning 23 again this offseason. Normal dev, though, might keep him down a little bit. But overall, for where, again, this team started, we did a great job reshuffling the offensive line this year and winning that Super Bowl. Bobby Okereke helped lead the defense, a Stanford man. And we are going to talk a little bit about Stanford later when we get to that post-NFL draft spot of this live stream. Because since we did not continue or do that movie style to wrap out the Stanford dynasty, we're going to sprinkle in a few of the players. We'll talk about that later. Holland finished 2nd for us. Wow, stuttering here. But finished 2nd for us in tackles, also reaching 100. TFLs, Lawrence with 23. Bobby Okereke with 20. McFadden with 15. He's an interesting player. Very interesting. Abdul Carter finished with 11 TFLs as a rookie. We'll take that. Thibodeau with 9, trying to rebuild him. And I feel like the Giants did extend his contract. Just want to see where we're sitting here. Yeah. So it looks like maybe not extended, maybe more of a franchise tag there. So that is something to potentially consider. Paying a lot in this next season. Is he going to be worth it? Do we potentially look to find a emergency in case it doesn't in this offseason? We'll find out. Kendricks, in his little bit of time, did pick up quite a few TFLs. As for sack leader, it is Dexter Lawrence with 8.5. I do expect more from Carter moving into his sophomore season. The 4.5, you could let that slide for the rookie year, but when you draft high like the Giants did, you expect a little bit more. Bobby Okereke, McFadden, and Thibodeau all finished with 3. Now, Thibodeau did not start the whole year, but the numbers are still not where we want. For him, I really want to see him get up to at least 6 sacks a season, if not more. Alexander, he is a promising DT. I can't really say where his ceiling is going to be at. Coming from Toledo, though, a star dev, currently sitting at 75 true. The block shedding is in a really good spot. We need to work on the power moves if he is to become a well-rounded nose tackle. And if he doesn't, maybe we do need to, again, find that emergency plan and bring in another interior rusher. Strength is at an okay spot. Tackle is at a good spot. Overall, he did play well, I felt like, out there. He wasn't consistently making plays, but he did show up. As for the interception leader, that is Holland. Well, I feel like I didn't call his name that much this year. Maybe had a similar impact as Nubin. Solid, but it's not going to win you any awards. Paulson Adebo, I feel like pretty much in that same category. I mean, can't complain. We won the Super Bowl, but we just didn't make those extraordinary plays, it felt like, on defense in the secondary. Nubin had an interception, same as Phillips, Kendricks, and Sanders, who I believe will be taking over one of the primary linebacker spots this next season. As for forced fumbles, we forced 5 fumbles this year, and we recovered 5 fumbles. That is a great percentage. Do love to see that. Any blocks? No. Safeties? We did have one in Micah McFadden. If I'm not mistaken, he did also force the fumble. I believe that was a safety. But yeah, so clearly he would have forced it. But I felt like he did have a touchdown this year, but it's not showing any defensive touchdowns. So that is something to try to push for next year. Get some defensive points. Graham Gano, again, is he going to retire? 17 years. And this year he hit 80%. From longer range, a long of 57. That's not too bad. What is the record now? Around 65, 66? As for his extra points, all but 2 were made. 1 field goal was blocked. I don't think... Yeah, we did actually have... Those 2 were blocked, so he would have been 100%. But there were 2 blocked. Do we have any... It doesn't track any further than 50. I would like to see it track 60 plus. Just to see how we're looking there. If you care about punting, we don't really show it much on this channel unless there's a good return on it. Jamie Gillian, 7-year punter, averaged 47.2 yards a punt. He had 7 down inside the 20. He had 6 for touchbacks. And the longest punt of 72 yards. That's a pretty big boot. Kick return-wise, I don't really think, we didn't have anything massive there. That is one thing I would like to find, potentially late round, 6th, 7th round pick in this draft, is just find someone who's just a speed demon out there. Good acceleration, good speed. I don't care what position they play. I would just like a bigger impact on these returns. Gray actually had more returns than Scadaboo, even though he was the primary return man, which is interesting. And kick return or punt return, really nothing there. Split pretty evenly between the 2. Just not impact. There was no impact coming from the special teams outside of field goal and point after attempts. So something to work on there for sure. Now, we did not go over any of the awards either outside of the Lombardi, which obviously we took home. So we'll go over those. MVP Patrick Mahomes, we beat in the Super Bowl, and Coach of the Year, we beat in the Super Bowl. Coach Bearington finishes 4th. You could argue we got robbed there. If somehow we go back-to-back, where would Coach Bearington rank all-time with only 2 seasons in? Good question there, Bradley. As it stands right now, Coach Bearington, in terms of head coaches, is already coming in at 12 right now in terms of the legacy. And that is with about 1,500, we'll say. So if he has a similar season than what he had this year, that would move him up, if no one else ends up moving up, to around that 8 spot, which, again, not bad, but this looks to be just counting current outside of Madden coaches, so kind of hard to tell there. Wish it did just keep track of all head coaches. That would be great, but not something we do have here. But very much it would be, I think, one of the few, maybe if any, have to Google that one for sure, coaches to win back-to-back Super Bowls in your first 2 years as a head coach. Not even as a head coach, but first 2 years in the NFL, just in general. What were we looking at? We were looking at awards. Get back on over to that. Now, obviously, MVP did not go our way. Did we ever have anyone in the running here? Not a single player in the running for MVP. Starting over on the AFC side, Mahomes, Offensive Player of the Year. We see that every year. Defensive Player of the Year. Back-to-back, I believe, here for Crosby. Which is good to see for him. Titans rookie Cam Ward. #1 overall pick last year that basically has had zero presence at all when it comes to the media. I also think Jackson Dart is the first rookie quarterback ever to start the Super Bowl, let alone win it. That's one that I feel like there might be a sneaky couple guys that maybe didn't start the whole year, but there was an injury or something in the playoffs. But very well could be the youngest for sure. I want to say 22 years old. Genty finishes second behind Cam Ward for AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. Shamar Stewart takes it for the defensive side. Did they release a rookie? Because he's wearing a rant, or is it just a case where they put in the wrong photo? It might be a case where they put in the wrong photo. Interesting. Madden, big Madden. Best quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. As for best running back is Derrick Henry. Joe Mixon with the Texans. Best receiver does go to Amari Cooper. He retired in real life, didn't he? Fairly recently, or yeah, because he signed with the Raiders, right? And then like 2 weeks later ended up retiring. Crazy work. Best offensive lineman, Mason McCormick. D-line is going to go to Crosby. Linebacker, Sherwood. Do like seeing a new player there. That's not one we typically see. Best DB is going to be Gonzalez. And best kicker is the rookie, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler Loop. All right, what about over on the NFC side? Justin Tucker takes it with the 49ers. Where's Gano at? Where's the love for our guy? Apparently we don't get any. Even though he hit most of his, well, 80% I guess isn't exactly most. Hit the wrong button. Going to keep hitting the wrong button. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Brandon Ayuk. Tracy, though, did get on the board, coming in at 8. Semi-blocking it. Defensive Player of the Year is Aiden Hutchinson. We do have Sexy Dexy here at 9. But considering we won the Super Bowl, not a whole lot of love. Offensive Rookie goes to McMillan. Golden in front, Burden. Then we get Dart. Then we get Scattaboo. So, kind of fitting, though, with all the turnovers from Dart, despite winning that Super Bowl as a rookie. I think, yeah, the interceptions definitely hurt. Defensive Rookie, Jalen Walker. Abdul Carter, though, comes down at 7. I would potentially argue for maybe even less than that. With the impact we saw being very hit or miss, best quarterback is Hurts. No votes for our guy in Dart. Best running back, Saquon Barkley. Tracy coming in here at 4. Best receiver going to be Ayuk. No love for our receivers. I get it. O-line, we do. Now, how does that make sense? The guy who maybe saw 150 snaps throughout the whole year, coming in ranked 5. Illuminor is down here at 10. All right there. I don't know who's voting for that. Lane Johnson takes the actual award, though. Best D-line, Hutchinson. We do have Lawrence on that one. Best linebacker, Bobby Okereke coming in here at 3. Love seeing that. I'm actually seeing some off-ball linebackers in this group. Did they finally fix that this year? Because it used to pretty much just be another best edge rusher. Best DB goes to Jamal Dean. Or Jamel Dean? Did I say Jamal? Jamel Dean. Any love for our... We do have Holland on the board. I'll take it. And we already saw that we got robbed at kicker. Those are all the awards, and I think that is pretty much the wrap-up we are looking at here. Time to really start talking about the plans here for the off-season, which is what we are all here for. So why don't we start with talking about those plans for this off-season? When it comes to the offensive side, we talked a little bit about it. I think right now Neighbors obviously going to be that number one guy. Really like what Robinson did, so he will continue being that secondary guy. But I think we got to find someone else here to be that wide receiver 3. Moody played a little bit, just didn't have a big impact. I think winning that Super Bowl, he might look to get his bag. If we look to make this series realistic, anyone who has the option to leave and collect that money very much would. As for the offensive line, again, Runyon maybe stays. We'll see what our options are. Aram might look for competition. Illuminor very much might regress as we move on. Does Schmitz really hold on to that? I mean, we have options on roster, so it's not going to be a dramatic need. We need depth, though, up front. That is for sure. We do want to find a new tight end, too. And if you've been around this channel for a while, you know I love drafting a tight end. So we probably will look to draft a tight end to just fill in that spot. We don't run a whole lot of 2 tight end looks. Mostly we're getting a whole lot of single tight end and fullback, which is why Fiden is getting a lot of playing time, and he's played very well. He's earned that playing time. So for the offense, mostly looking for depth, maybe a running back 3. Backup quarterback is going to be a need. I think we got to find a way to get out of this Russell Wilson contract if we can. And it looks like we might be able to get out of this one pretty easy. Again, I don't know if they're counting 2026 as this year or the following year, as we have already finished the Super Bowl. We'll find out shortly. But definitely do need to find backup quarterback for sure. Defensive-wise, the front 4, I think we are solid at. We could look to develop some young guys at edge rusher. But we got, I think, everyone we need at nose tackle. Linebacker-wise, McFadden, his contract is up. We'll talk about contracts shortly. But with Bobby Okereke under contract, Sanders, he started most of the year. I really like those 2. We'll probably need to find a 3rd guy. And this is a spot where I think finding a cheap, solid veteran linebacker is exactly what we need for free agency. And then look to draft some young guys underneath them. Safety-wise, I know Belton's contract is up, so he will be on the exit most likely. I really liked his play in preseason, but trying to keep the contracts cheap is a must because the Giants did not handle their cap well, which is what forced us to make so many moves the midway point. Honestly, helped us out. Drew Phillips, young, he's under contract. Adebo, what is the contract they have for him? I think it's like a 2 or so year deal. No, they got him for a 3-year deal. Okay, so they're paying him some money, especially in 2027. Now, I like Adebo, but we're going to need him to make some bigger plays, and I would love if it stayed on the actual tab that we were on. But Paulson Adebo, right now, a true 83 star dev, and he's got good ratings. He just didn't make, again, those extra effort plays, get the interceptions, break up a good couple passes, some soft coverage at times. I think that's a little bit more Madden issue necessarily rather than it being the player himself. But Paulson Adebo, I think we're good at. And again, I said we'll talk about contracts in a moment because I've heard a call for our guy Sante Samuel Jr. here with the interception late in that Super Bowl that gave us the shot at the game-winning field goal. There were calls for him to be MVP, but his contract is up. He was signed as just a free agent. No one had picked him up due to the knee injury. We scooped him up. I feel like he's going to be on his way out. Float, I think his contract is also up. Again, we'll find that out shortly. It's one of the other corners underneath. So we might have Banks, and he would be able to fill in. But we still might need to take a look and seeing what our options are, especially if we're trying to develop some young talent. Keep this group young. And again, we'll find out shortly if Graham Gano is going to look to retire. Might need to find a kicker if that's the case. We'll take a look at free agency. We'll also take a look at the draft. As I mentioned, I want to find a true returner this year, make that a part of not only this series, I also want to try to change things around with Kent State, which will be a live stream tomorrow as well. Hopefully a smoother start to that one than this one. But again, that will be tomorrow. That both of these series really needs to see something happen with these return games, because it's just not having an effect, really. You get back to the true spot you would have if you just didn't return anyway. So we're going to try some things. As for the specialist, might look for a long snapper, but I think besides that, it should be pretty chill. When it comes to the draft, might be looking at pretty much just UDFA, or not, yeah, no, not UDFA, BPA. That's the other offseason term, UDFA, undrafteds, which we will not get to here today. But speaking of get to, I think we need to get a move on here. We spent a lot of time Super Bowl week as Coach Bearington signs a 3-year extension for only $5 million. You won a Super Bowl as a rookie head coach. For 3 years, you're making $5 million. I think we're getting a little bit underpaid here. We'll make them pay in the long run, I suppose. Well, let's move on and officially actually start the offseason, letting these dominoes fall where they may. And it all starts off taking a look here, the retirements. There's a couple that I think we might have. So let's solely take a look here at our guys, then we'll take a look at everyone else. For the Giants, Lamb retires. Graham Gano does not. Illuminor does not. Eric Kendricks does not. A little bit surprising. Definitely a little bit surprising. I expected maybe 2 more on that board. Let's see any other big name retirees. Grady Jarrett. Harrison Smith finally hangs it up. That's going to be a sad day as a Vikings fan. Darius Slay retires. Aaron Rodgers is finally out of here. Love that one. Cameron Hayward. Guess not really getting a contract extension. He'll just send to the bench. Tyrann Mathieu. I could have sworn he already retired. Cameron Jordan. Bobby Wags finally retires. Cody Whitehair, Kyle Van Noy, Ronnie Stanley. Man, Ravens got shredded when it came to retirees. Nelson Aguilar, Devontae Adams, Geno Smith retires almost for a second time. Adam Thielen retiring, still as a member of the Panthers. Dalton's finally gone. Tyrod Taylor. Trent Williams retires. 49ers had a few. Elijah Dotson retires after 3 years. That's interesting to see. Some young guys. I wonder if he was... Well, no, he was on a roster. It's interesting. David Onyemata. Kirk Cousins is finally gone. Zadarius Smith. A.J. Dillon. That is a bit surprising. Power back, year 6. I guess maybe the knees just weren't quite holding up. Nick Folk. Von Miller retires. Khalil Mack. Laius Campbell. Mike Evans retires. Vontae David. Jack Conklin. Jonathan Hankins. Got Stephon Gilmore retiring. Case Keenum finally retires. Now it's looking like we're getting to the UDFAs here. Again, why do I keep saying UDFAs for everyone who's a free agent? It's been a long day. Joe Flacco retires, so good luck. Cleveland, you're going to actually have to rock with one of the quarterbacks you drafted. DJ Dallas, another running back, retiring after 6 years. Another 6 years for Ahmed. Emmanuel Ogba. 17 years for Josh Johnson. I guess you could really play for a long time if you're not actually playing. Cordell Patterson retires. Man. Fabian Moreau is gone. Bobby McCain. Some of these names, that's a throwback for sure. Ernest Johnson retires after 7, so we're losing running backs. Wonder if that means we're going to start seeing a few more drafted running backs take the reins here. A lot of free agents. Zeke finally retires. Dalvin finally retires. OBJ. No head coach retirements. And Amir Abdullah retires after 11. We'll see if anyone more does end up retiring. I saw in Kane's last offseason, a few more guys did retire as they progressed through the offseason. Coaching carousel looks like... I feel like we have maybe new coordinators here. We could fire them. That's interesting. Now, I do have to say, I don't know how I feel about how you could upgrade these and fairly upgrade pretty easily. I mean, we have 218 staff points, and I'm just not even using them because I feel like these are so overpowered. If we didn't have these, I don't know if we make it to the Super Bowl, and especially win the Super Bowl this year. But it doesn't look like our coordinators were hired away because it has everything that I had upgraded. So I guess I didn't really show all these, but these are all the upgrades that we have. A few of them are in platinum, and I pretty much use the same ones every single game. So it doesn't look like any of our guys were poached. We can upgrade a few players. Potentially, it might just be depth guys. And we could upgrade a few of our starters. Abdul Carter, what are the ratings currently at? The finesse moves already up at a 90 true. I mean, the ratings are there for him to be producing a bit more. Perhaps the play recognition is what is holding that back a little bit. Awareness is at an 80. We'll just continue rocking there with his archetype then. Just keep upgrading the speed because everything pretty much looks good. Get a boost to block shedding +2, power moves +2, get some extra tackling in there. Not too bad of an upgrade for sure. Paulson Adebo. I would love an archetype that just forces turnovers because that is what we need. We'll boost his man coverage a little bit here. That is our scheme fit, so he is now going to be a scheme fit with a +2 to man, play rec. A little bit of zone and jumping in the mix there for Adebo. Tracy, yeah, we're just going to stick with elusive for him. That is what he does. Again, we talked earlier. Have you guys also had issues when it comes to the flick for the truck rather than the hold down like it? Oh, smack the mic. Sorry for headphone users. Have you guys had issues when it comes to the flick versus the hold like in past years? Because it has been a wreck for me. I'm glad I haven't fumbled the ball reaching forward as much. For him, Drew Phillips, we are going to go zone. Do keep that scheme fit. But we need that zone up a little bit. Get the +2 there, +1 to the press, and the +2 play rec. Pretty good there for 22. We actually have some decent upgrades here. I guess we're going to go through a little upgrade stretch. Is there any player that you know is going to come available you would love to see on this team? What are we looking at for the catch and traffic? Pretty solid there for Wan'Dale Robinson. The release is just his problem. He's a slot guy through and through. But we'll upgrade the playmaker because that is the scheme, but we don't get the scheme fit. But +6 release is huge for Robinson. Get the +3 for the deep, +3 for awareness. That is a really good upgrade for him. Edits wants Darnell Mooney. What overall is Mooney at? Because I know he's a speedy guy. He would be great for that possible returner that I was looking for. And I'm sure he would love a quarterback that could throw the ball anywhere in his vicinity. That would probably be a really good sell for us. Not sure if you heard the yawn there, the dog in the corner. But yeah, Mooney would be an interesting one for sure. Or at least someone of that similar kind of build. Newbin, you need a lot of work when it comes to man. We are rocking him, though, at free. We need a speed upgrade. That's my only concern with Tyler Nubin is that speed. For him to be a rangy, over-the-top guy, he needs that speed. Not going to get it on the upgrade, though. I don't know what percentages of possibly getting that speed upgrade. Micah McFadden most likely giving an upgrade to him for another team. We will just stick with what he does best. Run stopper. Gets a +2 for tackling and block shedding. And the awareness, very much a run stopper upgrade for him. Jackson Dart. Now check out where his ratings finished this season. Coming in as the 26th best quarterback in the league. And it's also coming in with Tyquan Thornton for a returner. He's really fast. We'll have to keep an eye, see if Thornton comes up available. Because like I said, I really want to find that speed guy. But for Dart here, with all the boosts from the morale, which he has +6, so he's not an 82 true. But he finished this season with 98 short accuracy, 96 medium, and 82 for his deep. Mix that with his ability to run around. Throw under pressure got better. His throw on the run didn't get any better, but it was already at an 87. That is why he played so well, I think, down the stretch. People clown the Cowboys for not winning a Super Bowl in 30 years. The 49ers have an even longer drought than them. Why are we randomly throwing in the 49ers and the Cowboys? I'm all for the Cowboy hate, though. Especially when it comes to this series. That's a rival for us. I'll take it. But Jackson Dart, yeah, he finished the season great. We didn't even give him his upgrade. It's about to get better. I've been sticking with the improviser upgrade because that's really how he plays. He's a pure improviser out there. And we're going to get some decent stretches across there. Throw accuracy +2, which at the end of the year has him at 99. Now that will go down to 95. Dart, we have our quarterback for the future, which really opened up this offseason for us. John Runyon, we'll see how he does. We've been working on that power just to try to help balance him out. Because I think when we ran with Scadaboo, can't say this for sure, but I feel like we ran with Scadaboo more often to the left side. And the left side is going to be your weaker run blocking side because typically the tackles are going to be your pure pass blockers trying to keep the blind side clean. I think that might have been our fault when we ran with Scadaboo. How are there bandwagon fans for the Cowboys? I think a lot of what it comes with the Cowboys, frankly, isn't how well they play. It's that there's not a whole lot of teams throughout a large chunk of NFL time in that area that have done well. Because the Chiefs definitely didn't have the reign like the Cowboys used to have. I think it's also just a whole lot of older people really holding on, or some guys who are really young and watch those games. It's more of like a nostalgia trip almost for them. I think that's what the Cowboys are relying on, which is why they really are no longer the America's team. Really, if we're being honest, they're not. It's Kansas City Chiefs. If we really like to say that, half America, I think, maybe even more than half America, hates the Chiefs. That's probably more due to the favoritism. But I think that's all we got to really go through here, besides checking the end of season recap with that 44-41 Super Bowl dub. And Madden does not agree with Asante Samuel Jr. being the MVP. They give it to Jackson Dart. Saying Patriots, America's team after the Cowboys and then Chiefs. Yeah, I would agree. Very patriot of the Patriots to be America's team, but that was, I think, America just bandwagoning with the top teams of the times. If we really want to go with that, it's, yeah, just pure bandwagoning is America's team. That's why I always like random guys that don't live anywhere near a team, but they choose a team to watch. Like, I know a guy who lives on the current other side of the country and is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, and I'm sure that one is probably just about as rough as being a Minnesota Vikings fan. The winningest team to never win a Super Bowl. Hurts every time, but you just keep watching. All right, we're going to move on to the next round here. Staff week. Phil Staff. We'll see if anyone does end up poaching our guys here, which I would not be against. Staff improvement. We got a little cutscene here. That we do. New screen. Have not seen it. We are experiencing it, at least for me here, first time. If you guys have gone through an off-season already, you would have already seen it. But a really long look. Where's the Lombardi? Thanks for meeting with me, talking to Thomas Quinn. Looking forward to the upcoming season. I was hoping to get your opinion on how I can improve as a coach. Well, can you first off tell me if you're offense or defense? Gonna assume defense here. We stopped the run. We locked down the passing game. We did a great job stopping the run last year. We need to improve the pass defense. So that's what we're going to go with. I'm more than willing to put in the effort to be a key part of that identity coach. However, there are a lot of ways I can impact the passing game. What aspects should I focus on? Master the cover 2. Although we could definitely have used a little bit more pass rush. Cover 2 is going to be the foundation of this defense. Didn't get a chance to read all that. Critical fundamental. All right. Read fast or it's going to skip on by. But that seems to have told me that there isn't anything for us to do here. Yeah, Quinn, defensive coordinator. We still have our offensive coordinator in Montalvo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, the job security here for a defensive coordinator is interesting that it's only a 30%. Because our defense, I think, played very well this year. For at least a majority of the season. I mean, the Lakers each have a generation of bandwagon fans. First, the days of George Meekin, then Jerry West, then Magic, then Kobe. I mean, yeah, with any sport, you're going to have bandwagon fans for sure. Not everyone chooses to be fans of teams that constantly hurt them game in and game out. Or you just have a lot of people that are fans of the sport and not necessarily a fan of the team. That's kind of what I've grown towards the last handful of years when it comes to college football. Blame that on Stanford just absolutely blowing up after the long run of success. Might blame that a little bit on NIL and refusal to really switch to new college football, but yeah, bandwagons, they're going to be everywhere. How about, did we have any other retirees? Didn't pop up on here. So I think it's time then to actually get to some free agency. Free agency 1. That should be re-signing our own players. Actually, we almost skipped out on that. Glad I double-checked. But this is where I was kind of hinting at. Talking about contracts, we're going to make it a rule in this series just to try to add a little bit more difficulty because I think Madden needs it. Also updating the sliders. I know Matt 10 did update his all Madden set here. So we will update that come the regular season. But that aside, to make it difficult in this aspect, any player, like a majority here of these guys who don't have any interest, we will not negotiate with. Because to make it realistic, these guys don't have any interest in coming back. So for Cordell Float, we aren't going to make any sort of offer because he's not interested. That is the same for Asante Samuel Jr. And we'll say that's because he's trying to get his bag, right? He won the Super Bowl, had the pick to set up the game-winning play. That's where he's going to go. He's going to go for that money. Bradley watched the Pistons in November of 2024, the moment they started their 28-game losing streak. I thought it was bad luck charm at that point. And then, wow. That's why reading and looking elsewhere really doesn't help out. Then I stopped just as they broke the streak. I tried to get into basketball a bit more. Man, I don't even remember what year that would have been. 2018, maybe 2019 with OKC. And then they just traded everybody away. I think Steven Adams was on the team for maybe one more year, but he was the last piece. After that, I just gave up. Now, Banks is not under contract moving into the next year, and we only have $13 million to work with. This is what I was talking about. The Giants did not manage their money very well at all. So I think because of that, we are not going to look here, or that's actually a fifth-year option. This is why editing is great, because when you don't read properly, you guys will never know. But Banks, 78 overall. What is your player card even looking like? Probably not going to. He's got some, I mean, he's a solid player, but I think you could find similar ratings for a rookie. So I'm going to decline this and save us some money in the future. And Madden screen's broken. Fix your game. Good luck for you in the last 6 years since then. They got SGA, the last couple of years have been great. I just didn't really care. Also no longer really live in that area either, so this all is what it is. Booty, not interested, so therefore would not be talking to us. McFadden. So I was talking about, he had some key plays, but he is not interested. He showed what he could do. He's going to go look for his bag after he got a ring. So, by all means. Maybe? There we go. Really love Madden. Belton, he has some interest. Okay, we're just going to exit that screen, and we're going to go back into it. Woo, Madden. You really are the game. All right. Not Cody Bellinger. I always think Cody Bellinger. Daniel Bellinger. He's interested. We aren't, but it's not going to... Madden, can you please fix your game? Not interested there. Dimukeji. He's not interested. We aren't interested. Got to do this little dance around here just to get the game to work. Ford Wheaton, 26 years old. Got to move off. Both of us not interested. James Houston was added as pure cheap depth this year. In fact, is there anyone that we want to sign? Jermaine Illuminor. Probably would be looking at what all options we have in open free agency. I mean, the ratings aren't bad, but I think now he's close to a level of Schmitz. So we'll go with the younger guy. Also potentially for Mbo. Yeah. We'll say no for now. Kendrick, Jesus. Kendrick's still not giving up. Russ still not giving up. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that we are going to look to re-sign here. We're going to go into free agency as an open book here to try to spend that 13 mil. And I'm sorry for having to dance around on these screens. Just got to do what the game lets us do, frankly. Marcus Harris was another cheap guy to sign, but we might be able to find a similar skill set for him, or that he has. Because there are a couple late defensive tackles in the draft, which we'll talk about, that looked very intriguing. I think could fill in that spot just fine. So that seems to be everyone. The screen's broken again. I think we got to get away from that. And just in case it starts to mess with anything else, we're just going to do a quick save here. Just to make sure. Especially with how things started today on this stream with the weird internet. We're just going to do what we can to help ourselves out. Well, let's actually get to the next stage here and do something in this offseason besides just have a chat. Any more retirees coming in here? Jake Matthews. Yeah, new retiree. He decides to hang it up. Falcons are going to have to look for a potential new starter here at left tackle. Now, while we are finally getting on into these things, if you are watching on, I believe it's phone or tablet, let me know. Does it show the option to hype the video? Because that's a new thing here for smaller channels. Appreciate YouTube doing something here for smaller channels, especially in a market like this where it's Madden, NFL, college football. It's a very filled market for sure like that. And if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure you do like and hype the videos. It very much helps out. Subscribe if you haven't, but that's enough plugging. We need to actually check out what's happening here in free agency. Again, we have just a hair under 13 mil to work with, and we're going to take the same rules as signing our own restricted free agents or closed free agents as we are with the open free agency. So like Moten, Reader, no interest. We are not going to be able to offer these guys. Someone we could offer would be Trent Brown, but we really don't need that. But your top options here are a right tackle, a DT, and a right tackle. You do have the center. I guess Vikings decided not to re-sign Ryan Kelly. A lot of older guys coming up at the top here. What are your top quarterback options? Russell Wilson. No team's interested, though. He's been benched One too many times. I wouldn't be against signing a mentor. Gardner Minshew is a mentor. That is pretty interesting. Daniel Jones, not a mentor. Marcus Mariota. That would be honestly a pretty solid scheme fit. With where the money is right now, though, we're not going to make anything crazy signings like that. I say crazy just because of how thin things actually are. Areas of need. Linebacker. Perhaps bringing back Eric Kendricks might be what we do have to do. I'm currently trapped in an infinite void of blackness and have fought interdimensional entities in my free time. Yeah, I think that's just America right now. I don't know about the rest of the world. Haven't been there, but yeah, that seems to be about where everyone else is. You know, things are going a little crazy. Anthony Orgy. Why do I feel like I didn't hear anything about him, but you heard about the other similarly named player who was at, what, Michigan and now transferred? Do we have any other linebackers? There are some other linebackers here. As for McFadden, he does have some offers, so good for him. I was wondering about a potential Alex Anzalone signing, but he doesn't really have much interest. There's a little interest. So that's maybe something like in the last stage of free agency, we could make offers for guys like this, but I don't know. Isaiah White, 30 years old. Man, he's already 30 years old. Time is flying by. Yeah, nothing too crazy. What would an offer look like here for Kendricks? Well, he already has 2 other teams interested, so not helping us out here. Blake Cashman, though. That's a higher overall guy, but someone that could fill in a role, but would potentially take some snaps away from Sanders. What about Chris Barnes? Someone does have a contract in for him. Jack Gibbons, down to 73. That's getting into a little bit more of the range of some of our other guys. But what is he looking like? Out of Minnesota University, the Golden Gopher. He's got some zone. Man coverage isn't quite there, but he's got some decent block. Oh, the speed, though, that is a killer. 78 speed. You can't have that in nowadays NFL where linebackers are running 4.3, 4.4. And this screen is also broken. Madden, can you just fix your stuff? I don't understand why it's so difficult. You're the only one making NFL games. A lot of speed for Devin Bush. No teams interested. How is he looking like? We at least got this screen. 28 years old already. Not much in terms of block shedding or coverage ability. Nor is he a pass rusher. I don't know what his skills are, but they really weren't evident. Jerome Baker, a lot of speed there. 5 teams interested. Maybe look for a Shaq Thompson. So we got speed, 32 years old. Not the button I meant to press. He's still a star dev. He's got some coverage. He's got some block shed. So, yeah, he does not have mentor. It'd be bridge. But he still wouldn't be too bad. What kind of contract is he looking for? 8.36 a season? We need someone cheaper than that, though. Yeah, linebacker's not too great here. Eric Kendricks is still probably going to be pretty cheap. Broke apart a structure created to maintain a universe. Bradley, you're going hard on something. I think we got to go back after Kendricks here. A 1-year deal. Still probably going to be pretty cheap. We'll bump up the dollars a little bit here. See where this puts us. It's at least a green offer for us. Keeps the money down a bit. And we're on top, above the Colts and above the Browns. So I think that's a solid spot. Wanted to take a look at guard as well. See what the players were looking like. There's Evan Neal. So he's already off the team that we sent him to. Not a whole lot of youth at the spot. I think honestly pretty similar to where we already are with a lot of these guys. So it doesn't look like much upgrade there. Left tackle, really not much of an upgrade either. Right tackle-wise, you could go with some more age, but it doesn't look like we're going to find a whole lot when it comes to filling in a couple tiny spots with this team. Again, I wanted to save tight end for the draft. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of free agency to work with here. Bradley, you think you were joking for a moment? Hey, if you're breaking down structures containing the universe, I don't know. As for the defensive side, yeah, the only real spot we had to fill was one spot at linebacker. There was one player that I think could potentially fill that's young, and we talked earlier about potential wrong headshot. It's very much the wrong headshot here for Corey Black. I looked it up. Right now, if you have your phone with you, look up Corey Black, Oklahoma State. Remember what he looks like, and then take a look at his player profile photo, because it is almost the exact opposite of what he looks like in real life. Just going to pause here for a moment. Let you guys look that up, because it is hilariously bad. Someone on Madden needs to correct that. And they already went through and updated everything. They just didn't touch Corey Black. He doesn't even have the New York Giants, because it's not Corey Black, but he doesn't even have the jersey on. It's an L. It's an L for Madden. But I think Corey Black could fill in potentially at slot corner. The tackling for a corner, I'm not worried about. 62, that's pretty spot on. He's got the zone. He's got the man. He's got some speed. We don't need as much press when it comes to slot. Catching is okay. Injury is okay. The awareness is really what I'm concerned about, with that being down and now a 62. Play rec is at a 67. He's someone that I do think needs to get some snaps and a new photo added for him. Oh, Bradley, you think he looks perfectly fine? Let me see if I can pull up a photo here just for everyone, just in case. I have to do a little quick Google here. Wonder if they even got a headshot of him. Well, there's at least one from Oklahoma State here. So let's see. Let me download this real quick. Bam. Grab media source here. And while that is getting set up there, oh, clicked on the wrong one. Image, there we go. Okay. Just so we could do a side-by-side comparison here. There it is. I don't know about you guys. I don't think those two look very similar whatsoever. But that is what we're rocking with here in Madden this year. I don't know. You guys let EA know what they've done here. I saw that the other day because I was honestly about to change his player appearance, because I was like, yeah, they must have got the player photo right. Looked it up just to confirm, and I laughed for a good 5 minutes. But we're gonna remove the real Corey Black there. Still to say, I think that he should possibly get some playing time. Yeah, the actual player person, the model for him, I think looks perfectly fine. No problem there whatsoever. But the photo of him, that's just hilarious. Which is why I always got confused when I saw a 25 out there. I'm like, I don't think we have a corner that's supposed to look like that out there. But yeah, Corey Black for you, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Black might be a slot starter for us this next year. Banks, might see that playing time as well. Does he earn a contract extension? Do we look to trade him perhaps in the next year? I mean, there are things we could do. He does have the press ability. Tackle is going to be the same as Black. Obviously, Black is younger, but the star dev versus normal dev, I mean, there's definitely some things we could kind of bounce around with. But Madden, just please fix that screen. Fix the game in total. Yeah, we needed to sign a linebacker. We do have another depth safety here. 4th year, Merriweather, 68 overall, cannot cover anybody and is slow. He's not making the roster. So we do need to find some depth at safety. We'll give that a look. I know we have some younger safeties out there. So we'll see if there's anyone here in free agency. Again, looking for cheap deals here. Veteran cheap deals. Because we only have 10 mil of cap space. And we also want to make sure they have some speed. A mentor would be great. There is a mentor in Eddie Jackson. 73 overall. Does have a team interested, though, so we would have to pay a little bit more. And that is it. It seems like at free. Ooh, there we go. Jamal Adams. No teams interested in Jamal Adams. Well, how much money is he looking for here? About a little over 3.5 mil. Would take up probably the rest of our cap that isn't currently set aside for the draft. What is his ratings even looking like? For any type of sake that he might have to get on that field. Man coverage has dipped a little bit. Tackling, though, isn't awful. Injury, though, is pretty awful. Yeah, I think we would be better off just going with a youth guy. A draftee. So I think, go back into that. I think that's all we're really going to manage to do here. You remember on College Football 25 when I was recruiting, I found N-word. No, I'm not joking. He went on to win first 3 national. You won 3 national titles with a name that should not be in that game. Yeah, there were a couple questionable names to say the least on Madden 20 or College Football 25. I haven't seen any so far on 26, but this is the one offer we're going to put in here. Evaluate. Kendricks has decided, and Eric Kendricks is coming back to New York. He finally got that ring. He's hoping for another. All right, before we move on, I personally need to go take a little bit of a bathroom break. So let's see here. I'm going to insert an ad here just to fill in the space so you're not staring at chair. I hit the button. I don't know if it is running an ad. If it's not, I will be right back. Give me like a minute, and then we'll keep this thing on rolling. All right, let's see. Really wish it would show me if the ad was still rolling. If not, we'll just give it a little bit of a slow roll back on in. But now we are good to go, hopefully, for the remainder of this. Signed our one and only free agent, and I think the team is looking pretty good to get us set up for the draft. So as we do look to head into draft talk, not adjust lineup, I wanted to go to the roster. I don't understand why they got to change things that don't need to be changed. Yet screens are broken. They got Corey Black looking like someone else entirely. I would love to know whose player photo that is. To be honest, I would love to know. All right, I'm seeing a loady screen, but things all look good. Everyone let me know. Are we back fully? Back from ads? Let me know in the comments. While we wait to find out for sure if we are back from ads, let me just check a quick text message. I also got to check on the game, see what's happening here. That is what I like to see. Let's go, Suarez. What a season for Cal Raleigh. You guys into baseball? Cal Raleigh going off this year. Do you think Cal Raleigh's going to be MVP, or do you think they're going to give it to Judge? I think if they give it to Judge, that's just going to be a complete, obvious statement that does not matter. Mike off again? Nope, Mike is... Okay, there it is. Media source to... I did add another thing. Let's just remove some things that don't need to be there. There we go. Music still rolling here? Yeah, music's still rolling. All right. Let's get back on into what we're talking about. NFL draft. Getting prepped for that. There is Tommy DeVito, and while he and his agent have kind of been a story for the Giants, he's 28 years old. Ratings aren't awful. I think he might be a solid backup. How much money is he making, first off? What's that contract looking like? He's pretty cheap, and right now we need to be cheap. I was considering cutting DeVito, but I think right now we have to hold on to him. More broken screens here. Didn't Madden just update? We already are broken. Donovan Edwards. How did we scoop him up? That's a great signing from the computer. I don't like the number choice, but we might have ourselves a new running back that we didn't even have to do anything for. Do love to see that. So Donovan Edwards, 91 speed. Break tackle isn't very high, but the carrying is good. It's got some juke. I like what I'm seeing there. Where's Gray at? 26 years old. We would save about $1 million if we let Gray walk. And he's a true 69 overall with that morale out the way. His break tackle is a little bit higher, but the speed is so low. A little bit more of the spin. I mean, he's a solid guy. We don't have to make the move now, but I think Gray very much could be a cut. Now I'm not too focused on finding a third running back with the CPU signing Edwards to our practice squad last year. I really, really like that. That's a dub. And now everything's gone. All right. We do need another receiver. Talked about trying to find that wide receiver 3. I would love to find one in the mid rounds. Maybe I could go as high as second round pick. But Jalen Hyatt, heading into his final year of his rookie contract, can he step up and be that third option? I think he could be a solid option. He's got some deep and medium. I mean, honestly, all the route runnings are pretty similar. The catch and traffic is a worry that we're just going to see drops. Injuries okay. Not going to see the field as often with the pro style that Coach Bearington runs here. But I mean, overall, it's not like it's a necessity that we find something, but I would love to find something. Third-year player, 25 years old, 68 overall. Ramel Keaton. He's a player I would cut. Just nothing standing out there, and he's not going to get playing time. We'll let him live out his time till practice or practice squad's time cuts, preseason stuff, but he's probably not making the roster for sure. Tight end, we already know we were looking for a tight end. There were a couple options, I believe, late, potential UDFA options. Also some really good options early in the draft. Doubt we're going to go tight end that early, though, with Johnson. I think we should move Schmitz, though, over to right guard, just because that is where the competition is. So we're going to edit him for the third time. He's going to move positions. And that'll give us a better way to compare the two on who should be getting the start. And now we got like a pixelated locker room. I mean, Madden, do you even know what you're doing? Frankly. So comparing these two, they are pretty similar. Obviously, age is going to go in favor of Marcus Mbo out of Purdue. He's faster. Similar acceleration. Strength is the same, but awareness is definitely lower. Pass block the same. Pass block power is the same. Better finesse. He's just not as strong of a run blocker. So I think right now, running that two-back set, it's Schmitz right now. Schmidt's job to lose. Unless we find something in the draft that just happens to fall in our lap, we could definitely pick up some depth for the offensive line. Need depth for edge rusher, that's for sure. Can we get out of this Golston contract now? Because the Giants just delivered him a bunch of money, and he didn't even play. He's still making $7 million to sit on the bench. That is a bit unfortunate. We would have an $8 million penalty. So, yeah, he is stuck on this roster for the next couple seasons. Defensive tackle, I do like our top three. We could find another guy there late. Need depth at linebacker for sure. Do need to move Sanders. What? He's a field general. What do we think here? Probably going to be listed better as a run stopper. Does have good man. The zone needs some work. So I think Hendricks, we're going to have to move him to weak side. And then Sanders, we can move on over then to the strong side, be the Sam backer for us. And who knows what screen we're going to get anytime we go back and forth here. Just as long as I've got it sorted out gameplay-wise and we're actually out on the field, at least give me that. All right, so that at least has our linebackers sorted, and we are still getting the schemes fit for Sanders. We're getting the scheme fit for Bobby. We're not getting it for Kendricks. And we would save a good amount of money here if we got rid of Chris Board out of North Dakota State. 31 years old, though. Cannot cover at all. He cannot shed a block. I don't know what he's doing besides leaving this team. Save us some money, and maybe we'll be able to make another signing there just to add a little bit more depth. Because right now, we only have one backup linebacker and the third-year player out of UCLA in Muasau? I don't know. If you guys know how to pronounce that one, you let me know in the comments. Block shedding's not that good. Outside of the coaching boost, putting that up to a 70. I don't see a path for him to start. He is just pure depth right now. So linebacker is a need for us in this draft. Just BPA linebacker, and we've got to cut down this cornerback room. Dion Gardner, you can exit the team. You're 28 years old and a 65 overall. I think anyone under 66 definitely is going to go. In fact, probably all of these guys are going to go. Hawkins will be the last guy on the roster. And that'll help actually save a little bit of money. Save about $2.5 million after releasing all these guys. And again, that might open us up to be able to make at least one more signing. Perhaps getting that mentor quarterback. There we go. That looks better. Hawkins, 26 years old, final year of his contract. No zone. Man and press are okay. We'll at least make it to preseason. We do have a couple other options here at safety, at least. 27 years old, though. A little bit of some zone coverage there. I don't love it, but right now we don't have any other options, so we're going to keep them. Graham Gano, still rocking 93 kick power, 76 accuracy, not too bad for a near 40-year-old kicker. Gillian, good enough for me. No long snapper. We do need a long snapper. We might just UDFA a long snapper, and hopefully they're not horrific. But that means we have a little bit more money. Just a little bit. Just a hair under 16. So let's see what our options are then. We're not going to bring back Russell Wilson. Gardner Minshew, interesting option. No one else has put in an offer. Accuracy's not bad. If he had to start, he could play. The other option I think was Mariota. And the throw power is going to be a little bit less. Short is going to be a little bit less. And just in general, they're all going to be a little bit less, but you're going to have more speed with Mariota. Or actually, no, we were looking at Daniel Jones' numbers there. Throw power, I think, is going to be the same, actually. Short accuracy, though, is definitely a good bit higher. 5 more higher. 3 higher for medium. 5 more higher for deep. And he's looking for about $7 million. Mariota, he's looking for less than 4.5. Talk about needing to be cheap. I think we go Mariota here. A 1-year deal. We're going to offer him $4 million. He has interest in us as well. I almost forgot about that rule. Minshew doesn't have a whole lot, so we would have had to wait to the final offering period for that. Now, are there any cheap, decent safeties? I know we took a look at this earlier. Eddie Jackson, less than $3.5 million. I don't remember if we even looked at what his ratings were. Still star dev. Yeah, I think we did look at him and we saw that it looks like what pretty much any drafted player is going to look like. So I think we're good there. We'll just see if we land Mariota as our new backup quarterback. Still might look to draft someone perhaps, and then maybe if we have Mariota, then we could cut DeVito later. Just watched someone sim Emeka Ibuka's career. He had 20,000 plus receiving yards, 200 plus touchdowns, 1,400 plus receptions. I mean, with the start he had this year, I think anything could happen. Mariota doesn't like the offer. Mariota decides on the offer. And we sign Eric Kendricks and Marcus Mariota, leaving us just a little under $12 million in cap. That is our free agency. We are going to rely a lot on these young guys to continue to perform. And we're going to add even more young guys to it. So we are done there with free agency. We're going to move on. Though now that I say that, I know we had edits earlier say, take a look to see if Darnell Mooney or Tyquan Thornton might be available as a potential punt returner. Is Thornton receiver? See what we're working with here. Probably went the wrong way around to find him. Kadarius Toney's available. Not really exactly the speedster. There is Kevontae Turpin, though. He's definitely a speedster. How do we feel about Turpin as a potential return man? 5'9", 160. He'll just get lost out there. 94 acceleration. Some solid enough hands. I mean, wouldn't do a whole lot for us as a receiver. But that kick return is pretty nasty. 97 kick return. 80 break tackle. He might fumble the ball if he gets hit, though. 69 carrying. A little bit of some juke mixed in there. Could be a solid option. He is the fastest guy available at receiver. There's also Danny Gray, Mecole Hardman, Calvin Austin. Tavon Austin would be great. What about at running back? Any speedsters here? Not really. What about just in general? Who's the fastest guy available? It is Kevontae Turpin. Doesn't have any offers coming in on him. He might be someone that is available after the draft. So I think we're going to wait on that. You don't need to go spending money early on a return man. We'll talk about the draft when we get all the information on the draft. So let's just sim forward here. I don't think there's a whole lot of our guys leaving that we really need to check on. I'd be interested to see where McFadden goes. But that is all we need to do. We signed our 2 vets. Do have to do the private workouts. All right. Where did some of these top guys go? Taylor Moton goes to the Saints. Reeder to the Falcons. They needed a tackle on the offensive side, but they signed the defensive tackle. Trent Brown back to the Panthers, right? He played for the Panthers. Can't be that mistaken. Kelly's now going to the Bengals. And back to the Rams, Havenstein. Najee Harris with a healed Achilles going to the Saints. Hayden Ellis, not too bad of a player, to the Rams. Hashman to Washington. DC, that is. Rondell Moore's now a Steeler. All right, where's our former linebacker? McFadden is headed to the Falcons. So I'm not mistaken, we just saw a Falcons linebacker get sent elsewhere, so they replaced him. I was thinking about Alex Anzalone, and he's going to the Buccaneers. Would have been that bridge mentor guy that we were looking for. Instead, we bring back Kendricks. I'm not against it. Not Kayvon. Where did Booty end up going? Hayshawn, that's what it was. He is unsigned still. I mean, if he continues to go unsigned, I guess there's a chance that we do look to bring him back as a free agent after the draft. Have you ever watched RWBY? That is not currently ringing a bell, but most likely I'm going to say the answer is no, because I don't watch a whole lot of TV. Frankly, I don't have the time to watch much TV between this, the other jobs and everything. Mostly I watch YouTube while I'm doing other stuff, especially like while I'm editing. Couple shows that I do watch are going to be like Josh Gates stuff. Occasional Ghost Adventures, always fun. But yeah, what is RWBY? Might be aging myself here. Private workout time, though. So now is where we could talk about some players that I am very intrigued by. And there was a late quarterback that I thought might be the real deal here. Luke Ray talked about wanting to bring in some depth. He's an improviser, would be a 6th, 7th round pick. And I'm interested here because, just look at the arm. B short, B for medium, B for deep, B for throw on the run, B for throw under pressure. Heck, I might even spend a 5th round pick on him just to make sure we could pick him up. Very intrigued by Luke Ray, but we have the information there, so I'm not going to spend a private workout on him. I want to say there were some late round running backs, but again, since Madden helped us out, surprisingly, we don't really have to focus on that. There are quite a few of receivers I have on this list, and I don't imagine we go round 1 for a guy who's not going to see the playing field that often. With, again, the scheme, we run a lot of heavier sets. But just to show you guys what this class is looking like here, there is some options. Definitely up top, you have some really good hands in Manny Goodrich. Route running, a little bit spread okay, I would say. Just scouting receivers here in Madden in general just never really look that good to me. Occasionally there are, and those seem to be the ones that are extraordinary. So receivers are weird. Xavier Wolf is one that did go down from a round 1 to round 1/2. Again, the hands are there. Good medium route runner. But there's definitely some options that they may fall. Derek Skaggs, he did go up, which is, again, where I was talking about that I don't understand receiver scouting, because hands don't look good. He might be great at spec catch, but he can't run any routes besides just run downfield by the press coverage. I don't know. Bradley, it's a show that was made by Rooster Teeth. Okay. With cool fight scenes, and it was currently on hiatus, but is now owned by Viz Media. I haven't watched Rooster Teeth, and I don't even know how long. It's been a long time. So I can't answer that one. I'm not sure which one would be an NFL type of guy. Odin did go down, and that seems to make sense for me. Doesn't look all that great. Cotton went down. Miranda went down. Bergstrom, spot on. There was one player that did go up here in John Williams, but doesn't look that impressive to me. Jesse Sanchez did go up. In terms of guys I was actually even looking at here, I was looking at Bergstrom. He ends up coming in just average. And yeah, I'm not seeing anything good. There was just some interest there in the short and medium. But I was looking for like a late round guy that could kind of pop off here. I was looking at Cotton. He went down. So yeah, there's not great late here receivers. What about Westerman? Late round guy did go up to 3 to 4. Someone we could potentially take a shot on. He's just not going to catch anything in traffic. Nor does he have any release. This is the problem I run into with receivers. They just look so questionable. So we might just have to see if one of these top options do fall. And then maybe in the second, third round, if they're still there, we scoop them up. Or see if Booty is still available after the draft. Some really good tight ends off the top here. Their first 3 options, I think, are all solid guys. And they could do pretty much anything, too. Looking for a guy that could run block. Also a vertical threat. Ramon Rossum, a run block. Yet he has hands. Catching is a little bit iffy, but the catch in traffic is really good. Really good down the field potential route runner. You got in the following round 1 to 2, Nick Bowers with the A medium route running. A for pass block, C for run block. I don't know how he's pass blocking if he's out on a route, but apparently he's good at it. Maybe spent time as a tackle as a young kid. Hands really solid. Some other guys we were looking at here. I was looking at Fairley. Torres was also a guy I was looking at. But Fairley could be our guy. If we want someone who could see a little bit more action, he's not the best run blocker. He is a pure receiver. But when we go to tight ends, frankly, we really don't run that much, surprisingly. We do pass more. So Fairley is a solid option in that category. He did go down, so we might be able to get him even cheaper, too. Was keeping an eye as well on Bradley Peak. Where is he at? Solid short route runner. All right pass blocker. Good hands. That could be a really solid day 3 pick. So we'll keep an eye on the Maryland. I almost said tackle. I guess in a way kind of is. A glorified tackle in Bradley Peak. 6'5", 254. I don't think I really need any other information on him. Guard-wise, there is some interest that we have in the guard spot. We might need to find out a little bit more information on some of these guys. A little bit more of a range here for Roman Harris. Brock Bowers has a brother, the same position. Don't tell the... let's see. I don't even remember what Bowers looked like. If it's a brother, it's from another mother. Or it's a situation like Cody Black. So who knows? But there is another Bowers out here. As for those guards here, we're talking about Ramon Harris. Do we need more information here? I mean, he is a terrific run blocker. You talk about wanting a guy out there that can just shove everyone out of the way. Run block is A to a C. A for the power, A for the finesse, A for lead, A for impact. I mean, that's a dude to go after for sure. He might just be someone we have to bring in as a specialized scout just to see what his range is and if we should draft him earlier or not. As for center, I have everyone who's draftable currently on the board here. That's how deep some of these spots are. And some of them are just going to be pure pass guys. Nicholas Fernandez, another solid-looking guy out of Georgia. As long as he doesn't have any speeding tickets, you might have a really solid option here. Going to struggle against the finesse, but just a dozer down the middle. May at least have a bit more information out of the guy from Utah. But you're going to have a little bit less of the top end. But there's some solid guys in the round 2 to 3 for interior offensive linemen. Not a whole lot of options when it comes to the right guards, though. One solid pass protector. A good lead blocker, but you don't have the power. An agility guy for Skylar Parrish. And just in general, right guards, not that appetizing. Solid options. There are some UDFAs that I do have on the board to keep an eye on. Really good pass protector. Late. Just don't ask him to run block. We could look even at tackle as well. There might get a point where we are just straight up picking best available player. And I mean, at the top, round 1, another guy from Georgia. Great looking guy. Outside of that pass block power, that is pretty limiting. I guess power in general is actually pretty weak, but if you want a finesse guy, pretty solid. I prefer a little bit more power. No, day 3, not UDFA yet. But pass protector late, day 3, good. Could be really solid depth, which we do need up front. So I think a lot of our picks will be spent late. We need depth for the edge rushers. There is a lot of options there as well. They might be a little bit more specific towards one thing. Not everyone, when you get in these later rounds, are going to have dual ability. The potential for it, though, Harry Gordon. Actually, I was looking at the tackle for the B. He might have a little bit of power and finesse. But solid edge rusher here, depth. Matthew Elliott, Brandon Stevens. I want to say it was the DTs that had some really intriguing UDFAs. We'll get to them in a moment. Top looks really good here for edge rush at right side with A power moves, B block shed, or B for B. You have the A block shed with a C power moves. Pretty interesting on an outside spot. Might be a little bit more of a 3 tech for J.J. Ford. Yeah, you got good one-sided guys here late. So we should be fine finding depth. Again, pretty good here. Rich Baker, day 3 with the B finesse with the C power moves. Don't really need the run stopping if we just need you to rush the quarterback. Talk about these DTs. We don't really care about what's up top, though Carlos Allen is a phenom. Probably will be a great player. But there are some later round guys that I do like, including a few here way down, day 3. Mike Gowen, Hunter Jones. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, check out these ratings, or grades even. B for block shed for both, but also A finesse moves. There might be some sneaky good players down here late with really good play recognition and awareness. We don't need 2 more defensive tackles, but we might end up with 2 more defensive tackles. Do they happen to be skinny? Mike Gowen could potentially swing outside. Solid option, though. Do need linebackers, and I think this is more of a spot where we're going to actually start choosing to find out some more information. Although we did get a good chunk the last couple bits here in the offseason. The problem is finding guys who could block shit and cover. Very much seems to be a problem. Riley Edward, he might have, or flip that, Edward Riley might have some zone coverage, a little bit of some man in there, block shedding, C to an F. You get C's across the board for Geraldo. Block shedding could be B to a D. So it's really all over the place. Again, we could look to find some more information on a couple of these guys. UDFA might carry. That just might be a skill set to just take a waiver wire on just to find out. As for draftable guys, middle linebacker. Really solid option at the top in Owen Marshall. With A hit power, B block shed, C man, B zone. Could be really good. Another really solid option here in Batista. Great name as well. What What is he? Round 1 to 2? I don't see us going with anyone that early, though. If he falls, definitely someone we could try to swing by and pick up. Got anyone solid here at will? I see some A's, which is always great. We just have to find out what that block shedding is. A lot of these guys C to an F. So I think we're going to spend some time trying to figure out, well, they're UDFAs. Really thin linebacker group here. But Donnie Goddard, round 2 to 3, that could be our guy at linebacker. A range for sure, but the decent block shedding with a C, man and zone, both at a really good spot. Definitely could be a great option here for us. And then we could take waiver wire chances again, like I said, on some of these UDFAs. Just give them a chance, especially late. Talked about potentially needing some corners. There is some depth here, but I'm not all too excited about this cornerback group. There's some decent C's on the stretch here, but around 2 to 3 might not swing too hard at those. Long snapper, that's a position of need. We got A's across the board. That's great. Well, let's actually choose some guys here to have on the scout then. What I'm thinking we go after are some linebackers. Maybe that quarterback we talked about. Bautista did seem pretty promising, though. So we are going to select Bautista. We're going to select Goddard. And then the quarterbacks I added today. Give me Luke Ray. And that is what we're going to confirm here. A couple linebackers and a potential backup quarterback with massive upside. And then we just have to sit and wait. It's the fun part. Get to the next week. Then we'll go over everything. See where everything's going to fall. We're picking last here in the first round. So basically a second round pick. So really it's going to be kind of BPA at the top. But as for the players we were taking a look at, tell me something good. He is coming in as a potential undrafted. That is a bit surprising here. Take a look at the actual card here. Improviser, 6'2", 223, 24 years old. He's older, but he's a career backup potential. He's not as fast as I was hoping, but we could work with that. Again, he's a backup, so he's not going to see the field as much. 3-cone is pretty solid. Throw power, though, is only decent, so that might be what's holding him back. Because the injury is looking really good. The accuracies across the board are looking really good. Throw under pressure. Trucking is even a B. I don't know. You might tell me UDFA, but I would pick him up 6th, 7th round. And we don't have to overdraft him if the talent is coming in saying actual potential undrafted. So I guess in a way, good. Go check on those linebackers as well. Bautista. I don't think we really got any information on him. Around 1 to 2. 21 years old at 6'3", 245. At LSU. Pretty good speed, good bench reps. Overall, pretty solid combine. We don't know exactly what that zone coverage is. A to a C. But the man is there, so I got to imagine he can cover. And he is a field general archetype. Good awareness, great catching. Injuries A to a C. So there's a couple bits of information you don't know, but for the most part, he looks really solid. He might not be a big hitter, but he's going to wrap up. Ish. It's also a C. So he's going to get there. Is he going to make the play? That is the question around Josh Bautista. Or Bautista. I've heard it kind of pronounced both ways. Not exactly what we were looking for in Donnie Goddard. He goes down. Does that put him in a better spot for us to draft him? Maybe. Pass cover guy out of Wisconsin. 6 foot, 232, 22 years old. A lot of player notes. He lacks discipline. Looks like he does like to rush the passer as well. Whether he's good at it or not, hard to tell. Not the fastest, so he is a little bit slow. But he's got a lot of power in the bottom half of that body. And the vertical coming in out 1. He's got a great 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. The coverage is there. We just don't know if he could get by a block. But if he can, he's going to wrap them up. He might just also get injured while he wraps them up with F injury. But for a third linebacker, you could take a shot. You definitely could. And as for what the mock drafts have in store for us, an edge rusher going to the Browns right off the top, and a quarterback going to the Jets in Jimmy Bryant. Offensive lineman, some defensive tackle, receiver going early. Top 5, Manny Goodrich. Do the Texans need another receiver? I'm not too sure. There's not really a player that I've had in mind for the first round. So it's really, again, just whatever happens, happens, because we were focused on making it to that Super Bowl and ended up paying off pretty well for us. We did take a look at Ramon Rossum. They have the tight end going almost into the second round. Bautista coming in at number 31 to the 49ers. So that means Chiefs don't have their pick. Interesting. And he did drop 4 spots. He's now projected round 2 to 3. We were just on his player profile. I could have sworn. Or is this a different Bautista? Did we look at the wrong Bautista? Are there brothers out there? Man, it got me tripping. There's Josh Bautista. And then there's Eric Bautista. Did we even select the right one to take a look at? I don't even know anymore. Let's take a look at the other brother. Played at Florida State. The other one was what, LSU? Yeah. So they could be brothers. They just chose to go to different schools. Round 2 to 3, 6'2", 247, 22 years old, a run stopper with good speed, good bench. Everything there looks amazing. Block shedding isn't great. Zone coverage may not be great. He's got the man. He's very similar to what it looks like we have in Sanders, which he's played pretty well for us. So I'm not against that. We got solid options here. Do we get the brothers Bautista? Do we just double dip in the family and see if we could make something happen? Potentially. Now back to that mock draft. Where did it have us going? A center and Nicholas Fernandez. He was an interesting guy. All the centers looked really interesting, so I'm not against that. But I think it's time to get this NFL draft going. Leave in the comments, who do you think we go after? What position do we go after? Round 1. I'm going to start this NFL draft right here. Might skip it if it starts playing any sort of music, though. Will say. All right. Nothing. We're clean. We're good. That's what I like to see. Already have the clock paused. All right. Well, like I said, we are not trading up. We might trade down in terms of what we are working with. Let's... Again, why do they keep changing it? Let's go to the roster. Let's take a look at what picks we are working with here today. We have one at the end of the round 1. We have another one early round 2. A second round 2. 2 round 3s. Some round 4s. 5 and a 7. So that Jets pick could potentially be the quarterback we were looking at. We do not have a 6th round pick, and I'm not going to select him way too early. So that's what we're looking like there. Pretty solid. I don't know if one of the 1 to 2 slips into that second round. If so, potentially second round could belong to the Bautista family. Though one would have to fall pretty far. Almost actually would be the last pick of the second round. We've got options. As we skip ahead here in the draft to our next user pick. And Bautista does go to the 49ers. Rossum does go to the Dolphins. Looks, for the most part, like everyone went where expected. So then in that instance, what is available on the board? Top options, there are some receivers. But we don't need a number 1 receiver. We need a number 3 receiver. There's a lot of guys that we don't have a lot of information on. There is a tackle available that we had some interest in. The Bautista linebacker that was around 2 to 3 true went in the first round. And the round 1 to 2 Bautista brother is about to fall into the second. I don't think those brothers are going to be talking. I think there's going to be a little bit of some animosity there. But taking a look up front, we could use some help there. We could use a tight end. We could use linebacker. And we could use some depth across the board. There was around 1 to 2 Max Lewis. 6'5", 320, 21 years old, out of Oklahoma. Now, he is a pass protector. About a 5-second 40. Decent bench reps. Pretty good on the 3-cone and shuttle. Do not ask him to run block. Pass block has a high chance of being pretty good. Injuries at a B. My only thing is this looks very much like the skill set we have in Runyon. It's not really going to be an upgrade. I don't think Lewis is the guy there, because if we're going to upgrade at that spot, I want him to be able to run block. Roman Harris is available. He was a guy that we had thought about. They expected we would go with Nicholas Fernandez, a interior offensive lineman, which I do feel like is where a lot of the pressure came this last season. But I feel like we could probably trade down and still get some of these options. Now at linebacker, Owen Marshall, wasn't that like the phenom that we saw? Field general, 6'1", 240, 21 years old, out of Auburn. I wouldn't say phenom because he had a C tackle. 40's not too bad. Overall, I would say pretty good combine. He has some block shedding. He has some zone. So I'm not going to say phenom, but he does look really solid. Good hit power. Could potentially be a replacement down the line for Bobby Okereke. There was, as we called him earlier, Riley Edward. Take another quick look there. Too much question mark there for me to go early round. Between the two, who would be better? And it's coming down to what you know versus what is a question mark. You could potentially have better zone coverage with Bautista. Marshall, we know it's a B. We do know it's better man coverage with Bautista. Block shedding is the same. Hit power is going to be less. Tackling is the same. You could have the same grades for play rec and awareness. Both are 21 years old. LSU versus Auburn. Both field generals. At corner, there is Thad Pollard available. I mean, like I said, we're BPA. We could even potentially go with one of those receivers, even though we don't necessarily need it. And we're not going to go with Pollard. No man coverage. Safety-wise, is there even, I don't remember there even being any good safeties to begin with. Yeah, not really. Take a look at those receivers that we didn't think would be an option. Malik Johnson, 6'2", 214, out of Utah. He's a playmaker. Not very fast, but I'm looking for more of that sure-handed possession guy. If you give me 89 speed as the minimum, I'm good with that. Has B medium, B short. He's not the deep route runner. Again, I am fine with that. Good catching, good catch in traffic. He could break some tackles as well. He doesn't have the release, though. If you're going to be slow, you got to have release. Now, that could still be potentially around like a 74 to 76, I think, with a C. Solid option. Solid option. And he's a true round one talent, by the way. Xavier Wolf, a little bit smaller, out of Texas. Another playmaker. maybe a little bit faster. Release is going to be about the same. Not as good of a short route runner. Hands going to be a little bit more questioned, but not dramatically. But I do like the other option more in Johnson. What about tight end? Bowers. Talked about him potentially being a brother from another mother of Brock Bowers. Is he intriguing enough to go early? Got some solid speed. Bench reps could be better. Really good medium route running. Not so much deep. What's that run block? C? If it was like a A, maybe even a B, I would consider it. I think where we go here, ensure we get the best possible player. Again, talked about BPA. How about we go top of the board? Malik Johnson, receiver, is where we are going with our first pick, Coach Bearington. And right now, if you're Wan'Dale Robinson, you're Theo Johnson, if your neighbors who only had 35 catches, you're wondering, what does this mean for your spot on the team? Do we expand the playbook a little bit more? Go with some more 3 receiver sets. 4 receiver set, but include Johnson. Johnson and Johnson? That's a good sponsorship. And we got an A+ grade. 13th ranked, we got him at 32. Soft, reliable hands. All-star contested catch ability. Excellent technique when running short routes. Now, Wan'Dale Robinson was not a good release guy, but he was playing wide receiver 2 on the outside when we were in 2 receiver sets. Johnson can take that from him, and Robinson can just focus solely on that slot role, as he is a hidden dev. That is what I wanted to see. Definitely hit my nose on the mic. 88 speed, though, just a hair under what I was wanting the minimum to be, but I think he fits the role we were looking for. I'm happy. I think that's some dubs. Leave a like here for Johnson. And we're into the second round, and we do pick rather shortly as well. And that is where I think we need to find a linebacker. Only one could potentially go here. So, Cleveland Browns, first pick of the second round. They go Roman Harris. That was another position we could have gone with. I'm hoping one of them will be available with that late second round pick. Let's take a look here. Is that going to force our hand and go with one of these offensive linemen? Hernandez still on the board. We didn't take a look at Tafoya. 6'5", 314, 22 years old. Not too bad of a 40, plus strong. That would be a great pulling guard. Not finesse, power guy. What's that run block power? A to B. Injuries A to B. Now, would one of these guys fall? If we look at the rank here, rank 72, that would be about third round. So Fernandez could potentially still be there. Does he look as good? He did not attend the combine, nor did he participate in a college pro day. That's a big storyline here. Finesse, C to Fs. Injuries also C to F, so that does have me favoring the other guy. Max Lewis is still there, pure pass blocker. Max Westbrook, we do have him on the favorite list. 21 years old out of Notre Dame. Strong guy. Again, he looks like he could be a solid pulling guard as well. Injury is an F, though. And he's finesse, which, you know, I mean, you're pulling. Right now, the offensive line, best offensive lineman, definitely is not pulling in favor of helping us get a linebacker right here. Parrish. Again, another really solid combine for the guard. F injury. All these other offensive linemen seem to be injury prone. But Tafoya. Yeah, Tafoya's looking really good here. It's not necessarily a have to, but it might be a want to. The linebackers are running thin. Donnie Goddard, I know, is someone we had interest in as well. He's just not that fast. He is not fast. So going back to Owen Marshall here. What are you guys thinking? We thinking linebacker or we thinking offensive lineman? Feel free to always leave your input on these drafts. That's why we're doing it live here. Who are we thinking? Marshall just doesn't have that man there, but the zone doesn't look too bad. He could hit hard, but he just might not be accurate with that hit. We'd have time to develop it. We do have 2 starting linebackers currently. We also have starting offensive linemen currently. Bautista here. Tackle similar. Just doesn't have as much hit power. Awareness is there. He's a better cover man from the looks of it. And they have him spot 33 in terms of overall rank. Or Tyler Tafoya. He might be a poor jumper, but I don't think I need a center. Probably would be playing guard. We have Tippmann, so he's going to move positions. I think we go to Foya. Pick is in. We select center Tyler Tafoya out of Utah. Center. But we're going to say interior offensive line, and the war room is hyped about it. Coach Bearington's first draft, and he is feeling this one. Bringing in a new interior offensive lineman, B- grade. He was ranked 40th. We brought him in 34. Stands ground when dealing with power moves, excels in the run game. That's what we want to see. Power and run game, jumps out on film. Another hidden dev with 74 speed. We're going to have to run a little bit more power this next year. Get that man in front at 6'5", 314. Yeah. Tyler Tafoya, welcome to the Giants. And we pick with the second to last pick here in the second round. So we're going to jump to that spot. We're not going to trade up here. We're going to see what potential linebacker, maybe corner, is available at that spot. Maybe even edge rusher. UDFA, or not UDFA, BPA. Next user pick. Nick Bowers, the tight end, potential Brock Bowers' brother. He goes to the Saints. Got to stop flipping this around. Nicholas Fernandez does go to the Chargers. So it's good that we did go with the offensive lineman here. Donnie Goddard, one of the linebackers we were looking at. He goes to the Rams, pick 60. What I'm not seeing, though, are the 2 middle linebackers. Are we about to get away here? Get both the players we were considering? He's not on the board. Where did he go? Where is that Mike linebacker? There it is. 52. He went to the Patriots. Well, that makes our decision here pretty easy. 2 of the 3 linebackers we were considering have already gone. Now, before we make a decision, he is pretty high up on this board. We gambled once. It seemingly has paid off. Is there any sort of edge rusher we feel like we have to have in this spot? That answer is a big old no. What about tight end? We do need a tight end too. The guy I liked fairly, they say, is a day 3. What was his combine? He's a shorter tight end out of Toledo, 6'2", 232. 22 years old. Solid speed. Not the strongest, but I mean, solid looking combine. Where's that run block at? It's a D. Injury's also a D. So he's got great hands. Going to run some routes. He's not going to be on the field that often. A little worrying there. So does that make someone like Jimmy Torres a little bit more important for us? Who, if I am not mistaken, is also a pretty poor run blocker. Run block is at least a C. Deep route running is there. Hands are just a big old question mark. Interesting guy down here, Bradley Peak. I feel like we talked about him as well. Yeah, day 3. Don't know the exact spot he's going. 6'5", 254 out of Maryland. He's not the fastest. That's for sure. But he's strong. Good hands. Good short route runner. I think what that tells me is none of these tight ends are exactly what we're looking for. So in that instance, I sorted something instead of selecting. I was a little worried there at first. Bring up Bautista. I meant to hit Y. That's a little bit of a blunder there. Are you going to draft him? Draft? What do you mean it expired? It was paused. Who did we select? It says make our selection. Madden, what are you doing to me here? The clock is stopped. What do you want me to do? Who's on the top of my board? Madden really is maddening right now. Where is Bautista? Let me put him at the top of the board. Then if maybe we sim to the next pick, they'll make the right decision. Is he at the bottom of my board? Pretty much. Can I scoot him up? No? Oh, Madden. Can't live with you, can't live without you. Yeah, I don't even know how to move him up here. What do you guys think? What are we supposed to do here? Saying we are out of time, but we most definitely are not out of time. It's showing some guy here. I don't know who that is. So something definitely did glitch. All right, well, who is at least at the top of our board right now? Because I think that's who we're about to select. Glenn Teal, a quarterback. Round 2 to 3. Give me some information here on him. He's got some ability. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone else have this issue? Know how to fix it? If not, we're just going to have to go with what's what here. That is really unfortunate. I'm just trying one more thing here. Otherwise, we're just going with what we're going with. Yeah. We're just going to have to go with whatever it lets us go with here. So our selection is... we don't know. Glenn Teal, we picked up a quarterback. Yeah. Gotta love Madden. All right. We're going to have to just go to our next pick. Indianapolis selection. Or why are we not selecting? Is the game broken? Well, Jimmy Torres is still available. Oh, good old Madden. Any good corners? Not that I know if we could even draft them at this point. So what are we looking like here for the tight ends? Torres, we just aren't sure what the hands look like. Honestly, I like Fairley more. Will you let me trade this pick away? You will. A third rounder for next year's second round for Buffalo. Next year's second and a current 6. That could open things up for us. I don't think we needed any more picks in this class. Looks like the best offer is the Buccaneers. I say we don't need any more picks in this class. We are going to take the 6 later if we could even do it. And this is still looking a little bit broken here. I don't even know how to potentially fix this. We are going to skip ahead to our next selection here. It's like third round, pick number 19, perhaps. So yeah, that's what it says we're at. We go to our favorites. What are we looking like here? Sort by projection. Edge rusher, Josh Johnson. He's got the B finesse, but nothing else. We don't need another quarterback because we had to take one earlier, which we might end up trading. And then we're into the third to fourth round guys. Now Glenn Scott is on the younger side. Still a one type of guy. One move only. Yeah, seeing a lot of one type of move only. Do we have full unlocks here? Reed Westerman, receiver. I feel like that's a little too early to go there. What does the corner look like here? JoJo Gatson. Has good press, a little bit of zone, good catching, but no man. Well, Josh Johnson, top of the board here overall. He's on our list. We need edge depth. 6'5", 261. Not an awful combine. He's just a one-trick pony. A little bit of some awareness, a little bit of some play rec, some injury in there. It looks like we could draft now, so hopefully that fixed things. Just realized we have as many rings as the Cowboys. Giants now do have 5 after a Super Bowl. And right now, we had to basically forfeit one of our second round picks because it wouldn't let us select. Now we go Josh Johnson, and we definitely overdrafted here. 143 coming in at 83. But thrives by winning speed and finesse moves. Must become stronger in NFL. Well, he's going to have time. Struggles to disengage from blocks. Yeah, everything we saw there is in the scouting report. Decent strength and speed. We needed depth. I'm assuming he's probably going to come in the mid 60 overalls. Can't win them all. Let's see where our other selection was that we had to forfeit, but I don't think we actually had. Do we still have one in this round? No, we had 2 third-round picks. But I must be blind. So we're just going to skip ahead then to our next user pick. 4th round, spot 16. We have not found our tight end 2 yet. Peak is the only one that we liked left. We might have to wait on that. How are the lines looking? Couple guys we liked day 3s. You guys we like day 3s. Could be potential time to go after someone like Reed Westerman. We obviously already did get a receiver, so don't have to push that. Brandon Stevens says it's about his time to go here. Now, he is intriguing. Probably should have been someone we went after instead, as he has the power moves with the C for the finesse and the block shed. He could be the better backup option. At 23 years old, though. You have Scott and Brown over on the other side. I feel like we looked at them earlier. Yeah, they're one-trick ponies. That was the word I was looking for earlier. What about those DTs here late that we liked? Looks like one of them has gone, or are they just spread out a little bit more here? Looks like one of them has already gone. And with that kind of skill set, that's not something I want to miss out on. So Hunter Jones, not a need for us by any means. But BPA 61303 out of South Carolina. Really strong. Not too shabby of speed either for the size. Now don't ask him for any sort of power moves. But if we're not getting the pass rush we want from Alexander, Hunter Jones is him. So that's going to be our selection. Good old Roger Goodell taking away our pick, making us have to select a quarterback that we didn't want. We miss out on the linebacker, so we're going to have to try to find some linebackers. Right now, the War Room seems to just keep hitting. They are all in here on Coach Bearington. B-, we are back in action. Ranked 59. We got him at 112. State record bench press in high school. Effective at shedding blocks in the run game, utilizes finesse moves to create most pass rush wins. And you know that's a hit in dev. 74 speed with 90 strength. I expected a little bit more if he's setting state records. But that gives us a whole lot of options down the middle. Next to Dexter Lawrence as well. Great selection. Speaking of Cowboys and their rings matching ours, we're going to skip by their pick, though. 4th round, spot 25. Do we have any decent linebackers on this board? I know it was a weak linebacker class. There's a Joey Perez, potential undrafted. Looks like most of the guys that I liked here are actually potential undrafteds. So we might be able to push that down the lines a little bit. What are we looking at here with these offensive linemen again? It looks like some guys are going. So it might be perfect time to take a look. Love to find some balance, guys, if there's any left. Got a good pass protector, potential undrafted, though. These guys are okay. You might have a solid guy in Ben Whitley. What about right tackle? Russ McKee, not interested. Oscar Sheldon or Allen? Pass pro versus a power guy, and the pass pro looks really solid. Just horrific when it comes to run blocking. Allen-wise, a little bit more balanced. Not a good pass protector straight up, though. So you're having to pick or choose. What about that tight end we're looking at here? I know we're running thin at tight end. Day 3, Bradley Peak. We've looked at him a few times. I think we pulled the trigger. We're going tight end. Might be tight end 2, or we're going to have to hit a free agent if we have any sort of money after this. Once again, War Room is hyped. It's a C- grade value, but pretty spot on in total. 137, we got him at 121. Didn't drop a pass at the combine, but he lacks technique on intermediate routes. But if you're tight end 2, for me, most likely you're going to be running some drags. Contact often results in no catch. But when there's no one around him, he's catching it. All of them at the combine. Normal dev, 80 speed, comes in just where it needs to be. Strength at 77. We'll see how he does. At worst, he can't do any better than, or any worse than Bellinger, because he really didn't affect the offense much at all. But I like where we're at here so far. We're hitting our needs. We had the splash earlier with Johnson, the receiver. A good offensive lineman. We got another 4th round pick. I could have sworn we had 2/3 and 2/4. I don't know. Madden's being Madden. In terms of what is on the board currently, overall, we got some 3 to 4th rounders. A quarterback that we don't really need. Still might want to go after our guy there late. But this is a 4th round selection now. So I'd love for it to hit. Again, don't really need these running backs. Talk about hitting. Westerman is around 3 to 4. Do have to rebuild the depth there at receiver. 6'1", 196 out of Ferris State. Not too bad of a combine. Good bench reps. Might not be the quickest, but the shuttle's actually pretty good. So it's just a 3-cone he struggles in. Doesn't really run routes. Can kind of catch. I don't know. They say round 3 to 4. We're going to see if there's anything else. We might come back to Westerman and trust Madden. See if that comes back to haunt us. Couple options here. Left edge. You do have a couple dual style guys. Preston Huff. A little bit of some block shed with some power moves. You got Hayes, who could rush with both finesse and some power. McAllister, Gay. We got a few different guys here down the lines that we like. But it looks like for the most part they are one-trick ponies. Any more surprise defensive tackles here with some juice? Now I think we got the last one there. What about these potential undrafted linebackers? I know there were some that we liked. Perez. Should you be selected early? I mean, he might be all right. Catching is an A. He play tight end? Mike linebacker. What about Nick McGrath? That's a good linebacker name. A little bit of coverage there. Not much block shed. Trevor Gray. Talked about Gay on the other one. Got more of the man coverage there. Still not much with the block shed. So definitely not looking at starters here. Probably would be available as true UDFAs. So not feeling the desire to necessarily go after anybody. Do we trust the ratings, though, as a will linebacker to actually be good coverage? He might not be able to shed a block whatsoever or tackle, though. He can cover, but he's too slow to play safety. Any good corners? Ezekiel Logan on the board here for us. Now that is intriguing. Zone could be horrific. We don't know, but man-to-man, 6'2", 183 out of Miami, 23 years old. Good speed. Not the strongest, but he's quick. He's got the press. He has good kick return. What was the speed again? Not quite the 4.3 or 4.2s. A little bit of catching. That is interesting. I am interested in Logan. So Logan's definitely, I think, working his way to the top of that board. And the safeties were awful, so we don't need to look at them. Bernard Fowler, how does he look? Good press, good zone, no man. Okay, well, Logan definitely the top, and in fact, it made me forget who we were even looking at. Was one of the offensive linemen? Was it Ben Whitley we were looking at? Not a bad offensive lineman. First order, you lads. Welcome on in. All right, chat. What did I miss? Almost everything. Tuning in here towards the end. Quick recap. 2 free agent signings. Re-signing Eric Kendricks. We brought in Marcus Mariota to be the mentor quarterback. All of the restricted free agents, we let walk because we had 13 mil of cap space. We recapped a lot of things, talked about restrictions on certain things. When it got to the draft, we surprisingly went receiver with our first pick, and we might have hit big. We'll find out on that shortly. As it stands right now, I was trying to remember who else we were looking at. Was it an edge rusher, Preston Huff? That sounds familiar. One of those dual type of guys, yeah. I think that's who we were looking at. So do we go corner? Do we go edge rusher? Now, we've already selected a couple edge rushers. So I think in that instance, we go Logan. What do you guys think? We go Logan? We go Huff. Get your input in here. First order coming in with Logan. I'm agreeing. I think Logan might be the pick so far. In fact, isn't there a way to do a poll here, right? Let's see. There we go. Poll. Let's go Logan. Let's go Huff. Let that go for a little bit here. Meanwhile, we could take a quick look at where we might go here late, because talked about really needing some linebackers. They are going to be one-sided. You have at least the C block shed when it comes to Perez. Yes, the Z or the B zone coverage. Graff. I feel like that one was a low block shed. Yeah, I think we got to rule out the Mike linebackers. They just can't shed a block. Any of these will guys, can they shed a block? Potentially. Dylan McCoy, definitely an interesting one. But you might have that similar ability down at the bottom. All right, I think we're going to end the poll there. The votes are in. Coach, giving it up to the fans here to select Ezekiel Logan. Madden, come on. I tried to give it to the fans here. All right, well, Madden doing it again. Looks like we'll be picking up Enrique German, and hopefully with our next selection, we'll be getting the guy that we were actually wanting to get. What does it look like we're going to get, though, in German? Pretty strong. Good broad. He's a finesse blocker. Overall, I'm not against it. You know, I've seen some good things, so we're going to have to simulate this pick. Hopefully, we got the guy that we thought we got, and then now we could go see if our man Logan is there. If not, that's really unfortunate. Well, we're going to have to check on Logan, because once again, Roger Goodell has stolen him away from us. In that case, Perez? Or no, we were looking potentially at McCoy here. And a Mississippi State. Not too bad a speed. Got the catching, got the coverage. We're going to gamble here. Make sure we get the selection before Roger Goodell does Roger Goodell things. And we might have way overdrafted here. True rank was at 345. Average speed, good instincts, power moves often thwarted. Well, yeah, he's an off-ball linebacker with good speed. Is Mississippi State just using him wrong? We're going to find out. This has been an interesting opening draft here for sure. We should have a couple more selections in this one. As we get into the 6th round, this was one that we traded back. Now, there was a quarterback more specifically that I wanted. They said potential undrafted, but I want Luke Ray here. So we're going to select Luke Ray. 2 quarterbacks, one, again, most likely will be traded. Again, might be a bit of an overdraft. Feels pressure, delivers under fire. Excels when throwing on the move. Velocity concerns. 86 throw power. Yeah, I'll take it. Backup quarterback. 75 speed, though. I did expect perhaps a little bit more there. But he's depth. Although what should BS, our final draft selection. Go to the combine results. Give me the fastest 40 out there. A 0.40. How about that? Go with the right edge Russian Theo Thompson. There is Amari Harris, who ran a 4.36, a receiver at Mississippi State. Same speed for Jack Hoffman. Neither of those guys are on our board. There is Jalen DeLoach with a 4.48. That's really not anything crazy. 3 cone and 20, though, looking pretty. At least a 20 looking good for Amari Harris. We're going to take a look at these guys. Now, it doesn't mean we're actually going to be able to draft them. Yeah, and he has no release, no hands. This would be purely locking down a return man for a while. And we don't even get to see. Kick return is C to a D. And there is massive injury concerns with Amari Harris. The other option is a potential, was Hoffman. 5'10", 188, 22 years old, North Texas. He has a little bit more hands. Better injury concern, and return is A to B. Jack Hoffman, welcome to the New York Giants. Hopefully our kick returner heading into the next season. And that was actually an amazing selection. Ranked 170, we got him at 194. Speed, speed, speed with soft hands. Inconsistent contested catch success. We don't need him to catch the ball outside of kickoff and potentially punt returns. 95 speed with 96 acceleration, 88 agility. Just go to work in open space, and with that frame, get lost behind some players. That is our draft, done and dusted, as glitchy as it was. We're going to advance to the end of this draft class. And that brings me to a no. We're not going to get it done today. I will have it installed for the next full normal video on Tuesday. I will go through, and since we did not finish the Stanford Cardinal series in terms of doing the long sim and finishing the careers of some players, I will go through and select seniors, maybe a junior or so, who I think would have been drafted, find their comparison, and they will be added to this game. They'll be added to this franchise. Coach Bearington's stories continue, so will theirs. But let's meet our draft. And we land a 77 overall receiver with the last pick in the first round. Our lowest overall selection was Dylan McCoy at 61 overall, but honestly, it's not awful. Not awful. Let's meet the team. Hidden Dev, first selection for us in this series is Malik Johnson to team up with Malik Neighbors. Malik, I love it. And he has 88 speed, 94 acceleration that was really good for that. We could mold the hands a little bit more. Again, I want him to be that possession guy. And what did I say? 74 to 76 for the release. 75. Hit that one right on the head. Apparently, he's a good kick returner, too. Good injury, 91. It's at least in the 90s. He's got some after-the-catch ability as well. We wanted to bring in a wide receiver 3. I think we brought in a wide receiver 2. I think the same overall as well as was Wan'Dale Robinson. So great first selection here. Not where we expected to go, but it's what fell in our laps. And we brought in a center. And now center, that overall should jump up potentially 1, maybe even 2, moving to guard. Hidden Dev, Tyler Tafoya out of Utah. And that is pretty balanced. Need to work on that run block finesse. But the lead block coming in at 89 with 89 strength. He's got the speed to pull. Good injury. He's going to get right into that battle with Schmitz and Mbo. That is for sure. And might even still be a starter with one of those other two, because Illuminor, I believe we ended up keeping him around as well. He might have regressed a little bit, but he's right into that one. Now, first time we were not allowed to select who we wanted to select. We wanted to get a linebacker. We ended up not really getting a linebacker in this draft class because Madden wouldn't let us draft. But we hit a hidden dev quarterback in Glenn Teal, who was on the favorite board. The favorite board you can't reorganize, so it's not really who I want to select win, but Glenn Teal. And he's got some solid accuracies, a really strong arm. He's just not that mobile. That doesn't really fit our scheme, but he's someone that we definitely could potentially trade. Out of Oregon. How long he stays in New York, only time will tell. We did select, however, Josh Johnson, and it might have been a miss opportunity for us, but 68 overall, we needed the depth. Out of Michigan State, normal dev. These numbers, the looks, they will change. 77 finesse moves, though, is really good for a backup guy who's not going to see that field that often, but occasionally when he has to. Really like it. Now, if there's an injury to one of the starters, we got to make a trade. For sure. But good depth. Not hating that one. Hunter Jones, 74 overall. A hidden dev. The 6'1", 303, and he's holding that 303 quite well, might I add. Out of South Carolina. Now, the block shedding is not as high as I thought. That was a B with an A for the finesse. It's still well balanced. But is that going to rival for some playing time? We'll find out. Good strength there, though. Speed isn't too bad. Injuries all right. I mean, we could definitely get a little bit more rotation this year. That is for sure. Now for the tight end that I was keeping an eye on throughout. It is Bradley Peak, a 68 overall, similar to Fiden and how he came in, and Fiden played very well for us. Run blocking is at an okay spot to start. The short route running is really good. And he's not going to see the playing field that often. He'll be maybe a special teams guy. 82 injury. I've seen worse. Shout out to the Jags franchise. We all know the tight end over there couldn't stay healthy. Enrique German, second player we were forced to draft. I was okay with it, though. Comes in 69 overall. Good run block, main skill set. The power is horrific. Might be a practice squad guy, and I wouldn't be necessarily upset if someone scoops him off our practice squad. But I've seen worse. Then we went with McCoy, someone who I thought had some upside, some A-zone B-man coverage. What does that end up looking like? Apparently, A is 63 and B is 60. So not great. Practice squad for sure. At least injuries high. Now for the quarterback that I wanted to select in, Luke Ray. Took him a little bit early. He's a 63 overall. So he is our DeVito replacement. And the accuracies, I mean, I've seen worse. Speed, I was hoping for a little bit more. But we had another quarterback, again, shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where we didn't have much speed, but the speed was actually pretty good. I feel like that could be the same here for Luke Ray. When he develops a little bit, maybe a year or two, then he could be the backup. If he makes the team. Now, the last selection, we went with a kick returner that ended up actually being a pretty decent selection. And Jack Hoffman out of North Texas. Small stature, but he comes with some speed. And all we want him to do is kick return, punt return. So what do the moves look like? 81 juke, 80 spin, 95 kick return with 93 injury, 67 carrying, could be better. But I think we got ourselves a solid guy who might be able to develop a little bit as a deep pass catcher. What is the word we're looking for? Deep threat. It's been a long day now. But we looked and we found a kick returner in Jack Hoffman. We got him to a cheap 4-year deal. Now, there was one player. What was that? I could actually say right here. When did we have to? So late 4th round. We wanted to select Logan. Goodell said we were out of time when we weren't. Now, it doesn't look like he ended up going there late in the 4th, so he did go sometime in the 5th. And he was a 70 overall, not a hidden dev, though, but a 70 overall corner. He didn't have man, though, or zone. He didn't have zone. He had the man. It would have been good to get him. There's a lot of things that I like there, but I'm not hard-pressed that we didn't. The injury's a concern. How much playing time would he even saw? Probably not much, so we wouldn't have seen much development. But Logan was definitely a good guy to select. So the votes in the chat, they were right. And I wish we were able to get him. Madden's doing it again. Oh, there's a please wait. Okay, so we're going to please wait here until Madden decides that we can do something. Just checking up on the game here, see what happened. End of 6, up 5. That's what I like to see. No more Cal home run, though. Give me another Cal homer. Still not working? Still not working. Okay, well. I'm hoping that there was a quick save after the draft. Really hoping that there was a quick save. So what we're going to do. Let me see here. I think I have a pause screen somewhere in the archives. Today has just been a little bit of all sorts of random, hasn't it? There we go. All right, let's just get this nice and fitted. There it is. Put that not there, but there it is. Okay. Error here, Madden. Gotta love it. We're going to have to close that on down. Really hoping that it had a quick save in there. And if it didn't, well, we might just have to say this was a trial and go from there. Yeah, EA Sports breaking everything. Gotta love it. I don't think the last patch really helped out, for being honest. And I don't know if Cody Black would say the same thing either. Man, what a night. Getting the game pulled back up here. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. We had a quick save there. There is an autosave. Is it pre, post? Where are we at here? Drum roll, please. And we are in the draft recap. Okay, great. So get back to where we're supposed to be here. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the one. We're back in action. Now, we had just checked on the Logan. He's pretty solid. But earlier here in the draft, 3rd round, I'm confused here. We wanted to get Bautista. Was that 2nd round then? Late 2nd? I think it was late 2nd. Yeah, this is where we wanted to go with Bautista. But it didn't let us. We went with Teal. He ends up going early in the 3rd round as a 72 overall normal dev to the Saints. 6'3", 245, 21 years old. Solid tackle, solid speed, solid block shed. Overall, he would have been a solid linebacker to build up. So that is definitely a miss. But which Bautista brother was better? One was projected Josh was projected round 1 to 2. His brother was projected around 2 to 3, but actually ended up going in the first round. I think I found a bug here, Madden. We, once again, will have to close the game. And we'll have to get back into it. And I think that means we got to look to wrap this thing up rather soon because it just keeps breaking down here. If you guys have enjoyed, if you have not already, make sure to leave the stream, the video, a thumbs up. And if you have access to it, if you're watching on your phone or on a tablet with the YouTube app, there should be another thing down by where you would also hit the like button called hype. That's just a thing to help raise these videos in the search results in comparison to all the big channels who have the 500,000 plus subscribers. They don't get access to that. It's to help out these small channels. So if you enjoy, make sure you're helping us help you enjoy these videos. We're going to get right on back to it. And we will check out the overall of the Brother Batista, but we will not click into the player, and I'm hoping that will save us from the glitch. As it is loading back in. There we go. Okay. What a day here for Madden. Now, round 1. Again, we're not going to go selecting on any player. Learned our lesson. The Brother Bautista ended up going late first round. And he's a 73 overall. 83 speed. Scroll all the way over since it won't let us actually go in. There we go. Block shedding is a 71. 86 tackle. But he cannot cover at all. So you could argue then that Josh Bautista was the better of the two linebackers. Yet, one is going to be making about $7.5 million. Meanwhile, the other is going to be making about... Actually, wait, no. Josh is going to be making about 6.7 in total. And Eric is going to be making more like $15 million. So a dramatic difference there, for sure. In terms of overall, highest overall player selected, J.D. Porter, an 82 left tackle, an 82 left guard, an 81 left guard. The highest overall defensive player. The Browns got 2 of the highest 4 overall players. Heck of a draft for them. We did not get the highest overall receiver. Manny Goodrich takes that. Nicholas Fernandez. We ended up going with a different interior offensive lineman. Fernandez was the better player. 78 overall. Malik Johnson, though, still up here, maybe the top 20 or so. The guy we got, I believe, was down at a 74. Yeah, DeFoya. So, we missed a little bit there. But it's still not a bad, he's still not a bad player whatsoever. What about the fastest player overall? We did not get him either. Hoffman comes in number 4. Tied-ish for number 4. In fact, I'm going to give him the break here. In fact, tied for second in terms of bringing in that acceleration. But the fastest went in the second round in Derek Skaggs. A 98 speed, 93 XL though. So we try to average the two there. Difference in 5, so we say 95 and a half. And then try to average ours comes in at 95 and a half. So that's what math will do for you. Helps put things in your favor sometimes. But that is where we are going to look to pump the brakes. Looks like we are even over in the salary cap. So we are going to have to make some moves as we start the next episode, which we will skip through the preseason. There's not any real roster battles for us to do here. We might have to end up trading Glenn Teal immediately. Almost like an Eli Manning situation. Try to see where some of our heaviest money is being spent. Malik Neighbors, Malik Johnson. That's going to be an exciting group. For sure. Tight end room is cheap. For sure. If we trade Parham, we could save almost $4 million there. Move Tafoya to that spot. Then give Schmitz the start if he doesn't play well. Mbo out there. We didn't really get any backup tackles, though. That is a bit of a concern. I could have sworn we drafted more than just one edge rusher. Huh. Guess not. Oh, we're going to have to try to sort some things out because the money is going to be tight. Trey Hawkins. That could be almost a mil saved there. Cut him. Yeah, we're going to have some work to do for us next time. Make sure you are a part of that next time. We also got to sign a long snapper to make sure you get to see what Stanford legends join Coach Bearington in this franchise. Make sure if you have not already, hit that sub button, the bear icon in the bottom right, completely free. It's the freest way to help support this channel and to make sure that you are getting to enjoy all of what we do here. We've got another live stream tomorrow on College Football 26 with Kent State. A great regular season that pretty much ended empty-handed. We missed picking up the dub that we should have had in the MAC Conference Championship game. We did not show up to close the second half of the bowl game. We did, however, have a player win 3 awards and one player win another, and a couple other players in the running for others, so we'll see. We have potentially any players being drafted as well, and maybe we'll look to add them into future series here. But that is where we're going to leave it off. We'll be back tomorrow, I'm thinking 3 p.m. with the stream for Kent State. I will get this roster all sorted and have all that information displayed as we get the regular season debuted next Tuesday. So make sure you're there for it. Appreciate everyone sticking through here and the weird Roger Goodell shenanigans in that draft. The weird start as well to this one where it just for some reason wasn't giving us a good stream. Closed it down a couple times, brought it back up, and hey, third time is the charm. We will see you all next time. Again, appreciate you all being here. Tomorrow, live stream, Monday through Friday. We've got football here. And we got a whole lot of big games coming. And hopefully next year is going to be the season Kent State finally gets on the better end of those big games. But that is it. We'll see you tomorrow.